Hello everybody and welcome to the first real edition of the Infinite Creativity Now show. And today I am wearing a Harry Potter mug. There it is. If the coffee was hot, that would be lit up, but it's not. So welcome. This is the first in a new series of the Infinite Creativity Now show, where I talk about everything and anything relating to creativity and productivity, and I would like your input if possible. So if you can say hello for a start. If you're watching the replay, say hello. If you're watching live, say hello. In the first few seconds or minutes, people don't realize it's live, so probably in a few minutes maybe 2 or 3 people will come along, and I'm planning on doing this every 2 weeks. So this is my schedule. Well, say hello first of all, say hello in the comments. I'm really happy that you're watching this. I'm Sab, and I've been in Paris for approximately 28 or 29 years, which is quite a long time, and it's about half my life. And to be honest, I came and stayed in Paris for creativity. Somehow, more than anywhere else, I was inspired. Photography initially, then writing, art, poetry, everything seemed to flow when I was in Paris. Now, I'm not saying you should come to Paris. Well, you should come to Paris, actually, yeah. Come and have a coffee with me and a croissant. But you can find your Paris anywhere. So I go on about Paris, but that's because I'm in Paris. You can go on about your place. That's fine, and tell me about it. So I'm just going to tell you how this is going to work. This is hopefully going to be a long-term thing. All of these live shows are planned out now. I mean, I haven't planned the content, but I've planned what they're going to be. Let me tell you. I'm not sure if the comments are working. Try to say hello in the comments if you can, and if I can see you, I will show you, but I do have problems with the comments. So this is how I'm planning that it's going to work. This is my Facebook homepage, my profile. On here I put all my creative stuff and all of the shows that are coming up. So if you want to know everything I'm doing creatively, it's facebook.com/sabparis. Now, it's not all about me. It's 50% about me because I'm me, and it's 50% about you. So you, if you wish, please give me your creative stuff. I want to highlight it. I want to spend a lot of these shows on your stuff. So this is what I invite you to do. On Tuesday, I will do a smartphone photography show. I'm getting comments here. I'm getting comments, but they're not coming through. That's annoying. Okay, never mind. I can see a comment here from Yaruska, from Thomas. Hello. So on the Tuesday, I'll do a creative smartphone photography show, just like this, but purely about photography. So that was last Tuesday. Then on the Thursday, I will do a creative blog and article writing show where I talk about words. So this will be, it could be short stories, it could be memes, it could be poetry, it could be articles. The only thing I'm not really, don't have anything to say about is long stories, because I don't write long stories and it would take too long to discuss a long story on the show. But I can do snippets from great writing. So I'm going to be sharing some of my writing, and I would love you to share your writing with me. So that's Tuesday, photography, Thursday, writing. The next Tuesday, it's this, creativity. And I have a special group for that. You're probably in it, and it's called Infinite Creativity Now. I will cover anything about creativity. So, I mean, it could be photography, it could be writing, or it could be painting, it could be weaving, it could be cooking, it could be gardening. It doesn't really matter. Anything that is creative at all. On this show, the Infinite Creativity Now show, I'm probably going to focus more on the creative process and the productive process. In other words, getting those ideas, putting them into practice, and getting your creative stuff out there. And then whatever we talk about, whether it's painting or whatever, that's great. And I want to show as much of your stuff as possible. Then on the Thursday, the 4th in the little group I have, this isn't about creativity as such. It's about Paris, my love, my passion. So there's another show which I'm going to do on Thursdays. every other Thursday. And this is something I've really wanted to do for a long time. I used to do it, but I haven't really done it seriously. But can you imagine? I've spent half my life in Paris and written a lot about it. I take photographs every day, but I don't have a show where I talk about Paris. There are so many amazing, both curiosities of Paris itself and my anecdotes from living nearly 3 decades in Paris. I want to share all of that with you. Also funny little stories about Paris, new things that are coming up. So if you're genuinely interested in Paris, I have to tell you, I'm not the sort of guy who is into, you know, there's a new baker with the most amazing macarons I've ever tasted, you know, or there's a really amazing new shoe shop. That isn't really my Paris. My Paris is more, I found this amazing new drain cover with that looks like a face, or here's something, let me show you. This is the sort of thing that excites me. Now, you might feel sorry for me, or you might think it's cool, I don't know, but let me show you something that excites me. By the way, if you're watching, my comments aren't working, so I don't know why, but they're not. So thank you for watching. Leave comments and I'll see them afterwards. But right now I'm not able to comment, and I'm not sure why. I'm not able to see your comments. But talk amongst yourselves in the comments, and I'll just sort of, you know, be a sad sort of wallflower. So just to show you what I mean by my Paris, well, check this out. Do you know this balding, grey-haired guy crouching on the ground, taking photographs of something? Well, it's me. There it is. Is it going to go bigger? I'm not sure what's going on there. Oh, okay, it leaves the actual page for some reason. Yeah, so that's a picture of me taken by Beatrice in Paris the other day. And, you know, why am I looking at strange things on the ground? Yes, but aha, if you're into Paris, this sort of thing might just excite you. Do you know what it is? Put it in the comments, and I won't see it because I can't see my comments. This is great. In the past, around Bastille, it used to be an old prison. This sounds like I'm on my Paris show now. I'm not. I'm just telling you what Paris means to me. Bastille, it used to be a huge, horrible, menacing prison, and it was wrecked, you know, destroyed during the Revolution, Bastille Day. And on the ground, they've put these studs, and these studs, if you look at them from a distance, you can see the outline of La Bastille at Place de la Bastille. So it's great, you know, it's the sort of thing that excites me. And Paris is full of that sort of stuff. The studs they've put on the ground actually have a kind of picture of La Bastille. And the clever creative person who took this photograph, as you can see, it's a beautiful photograph because it's got the studs in the camera. So pretty cool, pretty cool. So there you go. That's going to be one of my my perturbing self-portraits, which I publish every 10 days. I'm just wondering if I can see comments anywhere. No, I can't see comments there unless I refresh it. I'm going to refresh it just in case I can see some of your comments. I don't know if there's something about not seeing them live. So I'm going to put a theme in all of those groups, not the Paris one, all of the other groups. I'm going to put a theme every week, and I want you to contribute to it if you like. And the theme this week at the moment is love. So if you want to contribute to the theme of love, you can. Yeah, so there it is. You see it's live and I'm not getting any comments. I could always check on my phone, I guess. So the theme is love around Valentine's Day, and it's going to be the same in each group. So if you want to contribute a photograph, you can contribute in the photography group on the theme of love. If you want to contribute a painting, you can do it in the Infinite Creativity Now group. If you want to do it in the some sort of writing, do it in the writing group. So that's my my attempt to stimulate you to be creative in any way you like. And if you're into Paris, then you can do that. I have got some comments. Okay, so Dorothy's saying hello. Hello, Dorothy. I've got Thomas saying nice photograph. Alison is here. Hello, Alison. Hello, everyone, she says. So now this is on my page, and maybe in the Infinite Creativity group there are some as well. Just having a quick look here. on my phone. Okay, let me check this. Yeah, so I'm going to have to try and work out why I'm not seeing the comments here. Just scrolling down, which is probably just slightly more exciting than watching paint dry for you guys. Okay, right, I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, so I'm gonna have a look at some stuff. All right, should we spend a few minutes having a look at some stuff? It's a tragedy I'm not seeing your comments, but I'll get this fixed out, get this fixed. To give you an example of what I create, and then I'd like to see, you know, if you can create the same sort of stuff. There's no rules to creativity. I'm currently doing a creativity masterclass. It's kind of too late to join now if you haven't joined already. But one of the things I say is, if you create something, that's great, you've succeeded. If you don't create anything, well, you just haven't created anything. You haven't failed, but you've chosen not to be creative. But I encourage everyone to be creative. It's become my kind of thing. So create every day is what I say to people. And if you can't create every day, create every week. And if you can't create every week, well, you probably shouldn't be watching me, because I'm interested in people who create regularly. The next big sort of thing after a week is a month, isn't it? Unless you think of fortnight. And then you're not really creating much. And creating is so cool because you touch people, you share it, they like it, they create in turn. So that's my kind of preaching that I do, as you know. So I'm going to look at my page itself and give you an example of 2 or 3 things that I've created recently. This will hopefully be you guys in the future. I'll be looking at your stuff much more than mine. Something I created recently was this. It's a painting, and it's actually my biggest painting. I've done another one the same size, but a long time ago. I haven't done one bigger. So this is the second one this size, and it's in an exhibition called Project 102, and it's about when the association was founded about 3 years ago. In that year, 102 children so artistically make people more aware of this terrible statistic, and they asked 102 artists to contribute something. Most of them are paintings, and some of them are sculptures, and maybe 1 or 2 other things. And this is what I did. This is called Crash Test Dummy, and in a way it is what it is. You know, explaining a painting is kind of funny, because how can you explain an image in words? It's like explaining a poem in pictures. Maybe that might work, actually. I always think it's funny to have to explain a poem, because every single word in a poem is chosen not just with care, but with, you know, with obsession in a way. Every word has to count. No words should be superfluous. And to explain a poem, which is a work of word art, in other words, it's kind of pointless, isn't it? The poem should explain itself. So that's a bit the same with paintings. Here's the painting, this is what it is. But it is quite fun to explain it too sometimes. So if you click on the post, you can see what it is. So what I've tried to do is this message of, it's road accidents, but I like railways and my son loves railways. So I thought, okay, let's have some intertwined things. So railway, the road, and then I thought, well, let's make it a bit more you know, add an interesting element. And I added the snake, and the snake works for a couple of reasons, because it's exactly the same shape as the road and the railway as I've painted it. So it's on an equal level, but it represents the menace of the danger of roads to children in particular. But then I realized that the poor old snakes just live their lives. Their main aim in life isn't to kill us. In fact, they'd love us to leave them alone and get on with their lives. So in the end, without going into huge detail on this painting, which I might actually, I realized that the snake shouldn't be such a baddie after all. So at first, I did the snake with his forked tongue touching the foot of the chalk outline of the person who got knocked over in my painting, as you can see there. And then I realized, well, hang on a second, snakes, no, you can see it there. I'm trying to go through my artistic process and all the crazy things that come to my mind when I'm doing this. And one of the interesting things about creating is ideas come to you as you're creating, which wouldn't have come to you before. So for goodness sake, start, and then the ideas will come. Starting is one of the most difficult things, as is finishing. But as soon as you start, I don't know about you, but the floodgates open because your brain has got something to work with. Until you start, all of your focus is on, oh my God, I haven't started yet. Should I start? Maybe tomorrow. I hope I don't, do something stupid. As soon as you've started, your brain starts working with what you've done so far. So starting is amazing because it just opens the floodgates to creativity. So there's the snake, which I, at first, as I did this, I thought, there's the snake attacking the person who's fallen over, a real menace and danger. And then I realized snakes don't bite with their tongues. They taste, they smell with their tongues. So I thought, oh, oops. But then I thought, no, not oops. I can look at this a different way because they bite with their fangs. You can't see his fangs or her fangs. So I thought maybe I can imagine the snake's tongue is actually touching the person who's been run over, or the representation of him, seeing if it's okay. And then I added, right at the end of this picture, right at the end, after many, many days work on this picture, I added the red tear. So in fact, the snake is very, very sad that this person has been run over. I didn't want the snake to be the baddie because, sort of the ecological streak, probably far more snakes get killed on roads than snakes kill people. So there it is. And there's my Eiffel Tower on his nose. All my paintings have the Eiffel Tower, and it's on a jigsaw piece. Can you see the jigsaw piece? It's kind of hidden. It crosses the line because my paintings are puzzles in their own right. And in my puzzle paintings, there are puzzle pieces, jigsaw pieces. So you can put them together, and that helps you to know how they go together. And then there's writing, "Et oui, c'est la vie." That means, oh yeah, that's life. And so on. I've also incorporated on the snake itself, which is really nice and bright, in contrast to the road, which is dark and menacing. You can see the red underneath the black, which is possibly representative of a river of blood. Got to get some sort of really nasty stuff in there as well as the nice colors, because it is trying to give a very, very strong message. When someone gets run over by a car, it's not pretty. So I'm indicating that a road could be seen as a river of blood. And on the snake, I have put 5 of my favorite Stoic sayings, Stoic philosophical sayings, which I'll leave you to discover if you wish. And that's me with one of them. I'd love it to be you. I would like to be showing your stuff. So get creating, and next week it'll be you. Okay, is that a deal? In 2 weeks' time. And you see, I can't paint realistically, so I haven't trained. I don't have any training in anything, and maybe that shows. I don't know, but I'm quite pleased to say that. I'm happy to say that because I want to say to people, it's not that I don't have respect for qualifications or for studying. I really don't think it's a prerequisite for creating. You look at a little kid. What qualifications have they got to scribble with all their lovely colors from their crayon box, every single one, on mum and dad's lovely white kitchen wall? Do they have a qualification to do that? No. Are they pleased with the results? Oh yeah. Are the parents? Well, it depends on the parents. But the point is, we are infinitely creative. If at any time in our lives we're infinitely creative, it's when we're kids. And then we have that hammered out of us. So one of my objectives in life is to hammer it back into people. So qualifications, don't worry about it. My qualification, my inspiration for this little car here was a Facebook emoji. And it's the same for practically everything I do, actually, is Facebook emojis or the equivalent. So don't feel that you have to have any qualifications at all. qualifications can be cool, you know, maybe other people will think more of you, or you might feel better about it if you're trying to impress people, or if you're studying to get better techniques, great, go for it. I do a lot of online courses to learn new techniques, but qualifications for me, they're kind of a thing of the past. I'm more into giving now than getting. So I'd rather give through showing what I've done without qualifications than get another qualification, in which time I wouldn't be painting and sharing, if you see what I mean. So that's my painting. What about you guys? In the comments, which I can't see, put what you've been up to recently. Now, from week to week, before the show, please contribute your stuff in the comments. If it's writing, contribute your writing, or in the group itself, in the group as a big new post, put your newest paintings, your newest photographs, your newest writing, your newest weaving, doesn't matter. Put it in the group. It's not going to be in the thread. I've changed this now. I want it to be directly in the group. So, and if the theme is love, for example, put on love. If you've created something and it's not about love, put it in the group. It doesn't matter. I want you to be able to contribute. Post your stuff anytime, day or night, any topic at all, and add to the wonderful creative experience. So this group is the Creative Smartphone Photography Group. At any time, contribute a new post on anything. For example, Beatrice has contributed this picture, and she has added some text to it. À l'heure où d'autres s'aiment à la folie. So this is, what does it mean? At the hour when others are loving like crazy, something like that. So it's taken from I'm laughing because I'm actually here. If I looked out over the window, I would see that. So she has added her text to this photograph. Wonderful. It's kind of like a meme. It's a thing in its own right. Please, creative people in my circles are creative. Don't post other people's memes. Post your own. Of course you can. Do whatever you like. I am encouraging you to do your own. Post your own photographs. Post your own words. And if you want a really cool way of doing that, which others will love, put your words on your photographs and post them. Wonderful. On the other hand, I don't want anybody to post unoriginal quotes or memes in our groups, because we're not about that. There's plenty of places you can see that. We are creative. We are creative people. We only put our own original creative stuff. And now she's playing with photography. She's playing with the app, and she's creating on a regular basis. Wonderful. So I've just started this theme, so there's not too much new stuff at the moment. So I would love you to start contributing your creative stuff. As often as you do it, get it out there. In the blog and article writing, Karen, I know Karen created something recently. I'm always creating, so I put my stuff there. So creative blog and article group. Anything that is to do with words, put it in this group. Now, I don't want you to put what I call naked text. And what I mean by naked text is text without an introduction or a commentary, because otherwise it's just a dumping group, a dumping ground for, you know, for text, a dumping ground for photos. I don't want this. I want you to introduce your contribution with a little, you know, introduction. Despite what I said earlier, that it's strange to describe a photograph with words, the problem is, if you don't add anything, we've got nothing to comment on. We just say, oh yeah. I want you to describe a little bit about what went into creating your latest creative thing, and possibly ask a question, because I want you, and also I want you to, when you contribute something, I would like you to straight away go and comment on something. So it's giving and giving. Actually, you're giving your creativity, and then you're giving your comments on other people's creativity. But we're all doing it. So you will receive the joy of other people sharing with you, and you will also receive comments from them commenting on your thing. But people won't comment or the comments will be boring if you've just posted a picture and don't say anything. You know, that's it's a bit selfish. Give something of yourself. So say, you know, I took this photograph early in the morning, I was feeling tired, but I said I would do it, and I'm really pleased that I did. And in fact, I realize now that there's this funny little thing that I hadn't seen before. Does that ever happen to you? So a little comment, a commentary, so that we get the human behind the creative act. And that's it. And yeah, the final one, Paris Set Me Free. I mean, it's not the same as the other three groups. I'm not asking you to create, but if you're interested in Paris or my take on Paris, then feel free to join this group as well. And so that's pretty much it. This is a first show, so I don't have a lot of new stuff to show you. I'm hoping that you will provide that. Encourage your friends to join, and I'll just chug through a couple of my things from my group to get your appetites whetted. Here's my photograph of the day. This is actually outside the hall where, let me just get rid of this thing. It's outside the hall where the show is, where the artist show is. So if you're in Paris, go and see it. It's on for a week until next Monday. And there's a group often playing outside. I play with my photographs. I sabify them or I sabotage them. Now, depending on your name, if your name is Jean, for example, you will genify them. So do add your personal touch. I'm not a fan, for example, of people taking a photograph of other people's street art, unless they do something that makes it their own. Because otherwise I'm admiring the other person's street art, which is okay, but I'm not seeing your creativity. So show me your creativity. I don't care how you do it. Even if you've got somebody's street art and it's a big face and you've added a bollard. You see this bollard here? You've added the bollard and the bollard is sticking up the nose of the person in the street art. It doesn't matter. I don't care. But make it you. Add yourself. Otherwise, why bother? Why bother? I'm not saying it's not a good thing to collect street art photos if that's what you love. Of course I'm not. But I'm always moving towards what have you created, not what have other people created. And there's a text that goes with that. If you want to read my text every day, it's on my Facebook page. I go past that very quickly, but I spend a lot of time on the text as much as the photograph. So if you want to know more about my texts and then share your texts, do it in the writing group. So in the photo group, I'll talk about my photos, not the text. And in the photo group, in the writing group, I'll talk about the writing, not the photos. This is an example of a spontaneous shot. Call it a grab shot. I was playing with my photographs on the train into Paris, and I looked left. And as I looked left, I saw Teletubbies land. I thought, what is going on? Have I been taken back to time for Teletubbies? Time for Teletubbies. If you're a parent, you might know that. If you're an old parent, if you're a kid, is it possible? Yeah, you could be a kid that grew up with the Teletubbies. There was this big round sun that rose at the introduction of Teletubbies. Does anyone remember this? Put it in the comments. And then here they came, you know, what is it? Tinky Winky, Dipsy, Dipsy, La La, Po, etc. And that can give you nightmares for decades, I tell you. So there it was, Teletubbies land. Is this a nice photograph? Is it a good photograph? Would it win a prize? Well, it's kind of like a grotty, you know, bits of engineering works, you know, the lines from the electricity, you know, there's even a line going across the sun. It's not even straight. Well, this is exactly what I do. This is my thing. And it doesn't matter if you like it or if you don't like it. It really doesn't matter, because I enjoyed taking it. And this is, I urge you to have the same attitude. Don't care. First of all, do something you love. If you think that would make a great photo, it would. That's the definition of it being a great photo for you, is that you think it will be one. Take it, enjoy the fact you took it, and then share it. And some people will like it, and some people will dislike it, and some people won't care or won't find it interesting. That's life. But what about those people who like it? How great to have given them something that makes them smile in the mornings, and the others don't matter. Some people who have done my photography masterclass, they now do a photo a day. Isn't that cool? I'm not saying because of me, but they decided they love photography so much, they do a photo a day or a photo a week, or sometimes more than one photo a day. And every time I see that, I smile. Every time I see a new photograph from them, I smile. That's the pleasure you can bring by sharing your creativity. Is that a poem? No, it's not a poem. Sometimes poems make their way into my daily photograph, my daily Paris chronicles. That's me, a video talking about my exhibition in French, then in English. That's an advert for the exhibition. A poem came from this. I'm not going to go on much longer. It's maximum. So if I have a lot of material and a lot of comments, I hope that the show will be up to an hour. Of course, you don't have to watch for an hour, but an hour is pretty good. I can talk for an hour a week on photography. I definitely can. So, and if you give me your stuff, wow. So this was me, it's near my town. It's not actually Paris. One photograph in about 50 is not actually Paris. This is my town. And I was walking down from my walk in the fields after having heard the shots, which always make me wince a little bit. When I hear a shot, I wince, because I think when I hear a shot in the French countryside, I don't think that I could have been shot and killed. I wonder if an animal has just been killed. And so I was walking back down to the road and I saw this guy. You see, he's got his shotgun with it cocked over his shoulder. That's the way you have to walk with them. And funnily enough, on the building, there's an animal. I think it's a hippo looking at him, sort of rather dubiously. And that became my photo of the day. I think sometimes the grimier the better, especially if it's a grimy subject. I like the photograph to echo that, to be nice and grimy. There was a point in my time when I went for perfection. I wanted the best lens, the best number of pixels, the highest quality film and all that. And I kind of reached a peak, and then at the top of the hill, and then I went down the other side. And, now we have really high quality photographs and we apply filters to them that make them look like they've been taken on a €10 camera, or a special effect that makes it look like this photograph was taken 50 years ago and has since been dragged under a bus. Isn't that funny? We don't actually want perfection. We want imperfection, and we want humanity. We want the humanity to shine through the shots, or to drag itself through the shots. And a perfectly composed photograph with the lighting perfect, you can't see any sort of grain or anything, doesn't do anything for me. My poems are a little bit like that as well, I think. I'm just wondering if I am brave enough to read this to you, the poem that went with it. I'll try. And then we'll be done. There's something about exposing yourself which is quite uncomfortable. And that's one of the things you have to get over. You can create on your own, but that's not normally what we do with it. We normally want to share. But sharing is scary. And I think it'll always be scary, but you can look on that fear. It's a bit like public speaking, which they say is, people think is even scarier than the idea of dying, etc. Well, it's scary. Why is it scary? Why do we feel this fear? We're not in danger of dying. We've got expressions, I died 1,000 deaths and all that sort of thing, but they didn't die. But the fear we have is the primordial fear of dying. We only have really one major way of experiencing fear. And in the old days, it was because we were in imminent danger of being eaten by a tiger. And the fear is the same, biologically we haven't changed, but we get the same massive fear for stupid things like, oh my God, I think I'm going to miss my bus, or I hope no one laughs at me when I speak. So it's completely out of proportion. We are often fearful for a lot of things many times a week, and then we get stressed and ulcers and stuff. And exposing your work is similar, because exposing your work is a bit like exposing your soul, exposing a deep part of you, especially when in the past as a child people have laughed at your attempts to be creative, and that hurts. So now we remember that, and we're worried that people will laugh at us again, laugh at our work again, and it's not nice. So another of my main objectives in life is to get people over this, get people creating, because it's so wonderful to create. There's nothing I appreciate more than someone sharing something that they have created from the heart with me. It's a huge gift. So when I read this poem, I'm feeling the same thing, you know, a little bit nervous, because it's really, I wrote it. I'm not saying it's good or bad or anything. I'm just saying I wrote it. It's my words that I'm exposing, and I hope you like it. And, you know, I'm not saying that I don't care if you don't like it. Of course I'd like you to like it. Then again, in some cases, liking is not the right word. It might be more a case of being moved by it, being touched by it. So here we go. It's called Important Expedition, in the best Winnie the Pooh spelling style. I'm a big boy now, did a deer today, nearly got away, but I took him down. With shotgun cocked, I'm king of the hill, and my kingdom grows with the blood I spill. Reggie's got a rifle, shakes a trifle. Tommy's got a tank, better than a wank. Peter's got a pistol, nerves of crystal. Norm's got a knife, gonna save his life. Gordon's got a gun, a really big one. Then here comes Gus with his blunderbuss. Simon's got a sword, like a dread overlord. Craig's got a catapult, thinks he's in a cult. Now playtime's done, they all go home. No longer local fields to roam. It's time for tea, then say goodnight. Run up to bed, turn off the light. Mummy's little hunter tucked up tight. Kiss on the brow, gonna be all right. Sleep well, dear, is her final word. But the ceiling heard, and the shadows leer. And in that, if you don't want to know what I think about it, because as I said earlier, the poem is the thing, not anybody's commentary on it. But if you're interested, it amuses me to combine childish things with innocent childish things with brutal adult things. And also there's that idea that grown-ups are actually just big kids with their own fears, their own insecurities. They're trying to be big and brave, and they protect themselves with armor called flashy cars and guns and, you know, nice clothes with designer labels. They protect their little inner naked self, which has been hurt in the past, and they try to, you know, they put on an act and so on. One way that men often do it is by having, you know, big expensive flashy things like, you know, and guns. Wow, that's really impressive, isn't it? And if you've got a bigger gun than the other person, then wow, people be frightened of you and all the rest of it. So I like to play on those themes in poetry, and if you can, it's quite a brutal thing to combine childhood innocence with you know, vicious adulthood. But a lot of what adults do, it's very, very childish emotions, often trying to protect themselves from their own fears. So yeah, so I enjoyed playing with those ideas. And yeah, I don't really want to say any more, because I think the poem, that in particular, that poem really, really should speak for itself. And I'm at about 40 minutes, and I'm going to stop at 40 minutes. Is there anything else I can show you? Just see if one thing strikes me. Chugging through. How about this? I love these book places where you're wandering around the town, and they've put books. There's a place where you can put your old books in a box, and you can take one. So it's like an exchange, doesn't cost anything. Maybe you've got one in your town. Well, this is an amazing source of photography, photographs, and inspiration. Grab one of those books, and even at random, close your eyes and grab it, take it home and see what you've got. Or take one that you fancy. I took this one. This is possibly the most amazing looking book I've ever seen. It looks like it's lived a life or 10 lives. The cover is, I'm not going to read it. I might read a page, because apparently it's an old classic author, member of the French Academy. I looked up the person. So I have discovered, thanks to me sticking my nose into one of these places, picking the book out and seeing what it is, I've discovered a member of the l'Académie Française. Where is he now? Well, he's gone. And what about his words? Well, they are hanging on for dear life with bits of sellotape. But they're still around, and I'm going to read a page, and I'm going to think back to this guy and think, you know, at some point this was a brand new book, probably getting good reviews in the press, so much so that he was eventually welcomed in as an immortal. An immortal is an esteemed, highly esteemed member of l'Académie Française, which is like the nec plus ultra, the highest level of honor you can have in France. Occasionally foreign writers get in. And there he is, that's what he's reduced to, this crummy old crappy looking book in a throwaway book box outside a railway station in the rain. Which is quite poetic in a way, isn't it? And I love props. I've got this project which you can do as well. Anyone can do it. And I call it, this is the last thing I'll say, I call it creative disintegration or perturbing self-portraits. Although sometimes I use the word perturbing to go with my poetry, but I also use the word perplexing or peculiar. So anyway, creative disintegration. It's a way that I use to come to terms with my imminent demise. Imminent in the big scheme of things. I'm not planning on, you know, disappearing tomorrow, but tomorrow is going to come sooner than I, you know, expect probably. And so one of my creative projects is to creatively record myself demising, disintegrating. And I have to get creative every 10 days. My rule is no self-portrait must ever look anything like any of the others. So I'm doing 10 every 10 days. So here we go. So that's like 365 divided by 10. It's about 36 new strong self-portraits. Now, I'm not trying to do crappy ones. I want them to be good, strong photographs. That's 36 new self-portraits a year. That's pretty cool. And if you put them together, it's pretty amazing to see how creative you've been this year. Sometimes it's pretty scary because you see yourself in 1 year, you won't see yourself disintegrating too much. But in 10 years, if you look back 10 years at your self-portraits and you think, well, I had more of this stuff on my head and I had maybe less of these and I've still got most of my teeth, but you know, one day. So it's sobering, but it's also beautiful because you think, I haven't wasted my time. I have been creative and I've shared that. I'm living a good life. I'm making the most of my time here from day to day. I'm not going to look back and regret things. I'm going to look back and think that was a really fully lived life, and that's pretty cool. And props are great. Grab a book. I often have books in my self-portraits. And on that note, I will just finish by saying, join this group. This is a wonderful group, and it's called Today's the Day. And I encourage you to share something you have done up to once a day. Record every day and enjoy the fact that you've lived that day. And maybe it'll come along and show itself on my screen. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of this. This was just to promote my creativity masterclass. Normally, I change the banner each day with my photo of the day, and I create a sort of saying, a positive saying for once. Sometimes I'm a bit cynical, but normally it's a very positive saying. And you start a post with today's the day. And you say, today's the day, something happened, or today's the day I did this. And you share something you're pleased about doing today. It could also be something difficult for you. This isn't a judgmental group. There's no rules on what you have to say. It could be today's the day I lost somebody. That's possible. This is an open place where no one will criticize you and you can share anything you like. And it's a way of appreciating your life on a day-to-day basis. I consider days to be like mini lives. So when the sun rises, it's like you've been born. And when it goes down, it's like you disappear. You know, where do you go at night? Do you know? So that's another way of sharing with us, with me, what you're up to. On a sad note, I hovered just then. I didn't realise I hovered on these people. You see, these members of my group, and I hovered on Alice. And Alice is no longer with us. But I was lucky enough to. She did about 3 of my masterclasses, and she was a lovely person. And in her last couple of years, which I knew her for the last 2 years, she loved creating. She really loved her photography. She loved having her friends around her. And there you go, you see. She became an important part of my life. And, you know, we're not here forever. So make the most of it. And one of the best ways of making the most of it is by creating. So just to sum up, today it's anything creative at all. On Thursday, it'll be my Paris show. The next Tuesday, it'll be my photography show. The next Thursday, it'll be my writing show. Please contribute to anything, everything you want to. I'm here for you to share your work, to highlight it and to appreciate it. If you want any feedback in a more, I'm going to get rid of that sort of advert thing and make it more of a, there we are, infinite creativity now, there it is. I'm also here to give you any help you need. I run photography masterclasses, writing masterclass, and creativity masterclass. So I can talk about creativity and all that stuff as much as you like. If you have any questions, if you need encouragement, just let me know. And again, I've got to get those comments working. Otherwise it's a bit sad. So that's it, folks. Thanks ever so much for watching. See you on the next show that appeals to you. Bye for now. Take care and happy creating.